So something I often say in lots of my rambling, but it's something that many people say, is that how you do anything is how you do everything. And ultimately, I do believe that there's like an underlying, in the spiritual sense, like a frequency or a vibration that underlies, that's like almost like an uber sense that then gets broken down at the more manifest level of reality as hearing, as seeing, as feeling, right? But it's all stemming from some underlying mathematical frequency or, uber pulsation of cosmic intent. But on the more, relative plane, we can even say that biology is rooted in chemistry, is rooted in physics, and everything is physics. Don't even need to get into the quantum level, just on the more gross Newtonian level of seeing how bodies and energy transforms through activity. So this is why, as a singer, I love watching gymnastics. I also love tennis and some other physical things, but you really see it in gymnastics. The vault, and how different that is from a floor routine, from beam work, just like the different kinds of singing. And it's fascinating because I took some tumbling as a kid, but I can't do what they do. And I think a lot of this is the Alexander training, how it's changed my eye. But you really pay attention to something and you fall in love with it and you learn enough about it, you observe it, you can start to see the underlying habits or coordination that will either make someone successful or not in the endeavor, right? Because how you approach, speed and velocity in gymnastics is fundamentally very similar to how you approach speed and accuracy and pyrotechnical work in singing. This is why I always say, singers are dancers with their voices and dancers are singers with their bodies. And the better I learn how to move or dance a phrase, the better and more intuitive it is for my nervous system, and therefore I can sing it better. And it's been super liberating. So whatever activity it is, to find the corollary through something else, I think can be very, very powerful. It's not just in the artistic domain. I think intellectually this applies too. The more you learn about literature and how a great poem is constructed, the more you can appreciate a painting. And honestly, this translates to the kitchen. It translates to how you make things. It translates in ways that you're not even consciously always processing. I had an Alexander teacher once say, and this was before I certified in the work, but I'll always remember her saying that. She said, I can be working with a world-class ballerina and I cannot do what she does, but I can observe her and tell her how to do it better. And what she meant is that she can see, where is the ballerina pulling down, where is she off her center, where is she have too much tension in her head, neck, back relationship that's preventing her from moving with the ultimate aplomb or freedom that she could otherwise move with. So she can improve the activity, not because she can do it any better or that she could do it at all, but because there's a sensitivity to the underlying coordination. And really what is that underlying coordination? It's a realization again of oneness in an applied fashion, that everything is always connected because in fact everything is everything, full stop. And I had a conductor once when I was about 19 say to me that true intelligence wasn't knowing everything. And this is obviously one very particular way of thinking about intelligence, but I found it interesting that true intelligence wasn't knowing everything, wasn't knowing a litany of facts, but it was understanding how different types thought or approached a problem. For example, understanding how a basso profundo would approach a line versus a high soprano, how an architect looks at a problem versus an engineer, how a medical doctor would approach something versus a poet. And when you can have that understanding of the system within which the subject is operating or playing or conceiving of the world, then you can intuit a lot. You can, even thinking about it from a strategical place of, you can negotiate with that person better, you can have a clearer conversation with them better, or you can put yourself in their shoes and perhaps be more creative, insightful, or proactive in a way that you wouldn't be if you were only limited to your own purview. So this is why we say on a spiritual level that everything is determined by your state of consciousness, by, it's literally the lens. Like, are you looking at the world through green lenses, through red lenses? If you think and label something a problem, it will be a problem because you have called it that. Kierkegaard, you name me, you negate me. So I've given it the name and then I negate all other possibility for it when I call it a problem. But if I put on the lens of the same thing is possibility, then I open up totally different doors.